I am excited to share this DIY hoodie with you guys. I actually love this hoodie that Kim Kardashian is wearing here. I found it on Pinterest while just while just searching, and I love it because it's so feminine. It's a hoodie that usually is worn down, but obviously is trying to dress a little bit, comfortable here, but it is just so feminine and I love it. So I'm going to show you guys how you can make this hoodie yourself. I believe she paid like $800 for it, and we are not going to do that. I'm going to show you guys how to make it for under 30 bucks. Okay, so for this whole DIY, you're going to need about 3 yards of fabric. Here I've already cut a little bit of my fabric. This is about a yard that I'm using for the top half. I'm just basically using my curve ruler here to make my collar. The best thing for you to do is always have your measurements on hand, especially when you're not using a pattern. I know that my measurements here are about 13 to 14 inches for my shoulder, and then of course however long you want your top to be. And then I'm using my curve ruler here again for my armholes. The next thing you want to do is go ahead and cut your top half out, and don't worry about it being uneven on the other side because you're going to match that up while you're cutting. Of course, once you're done cutting, you're going to go ahead and pin it down like this. I do have a tutorial on how to pin your fabric, so make sure you check that out. And of course, once you're done pinning, we're going to go to the sewing machine and do a straight stitch. It's basically like a basting stitch, and you're just basically sewing a straight line. Once you are done with that, you're going to want to take your the armhole that you just made, and you're going to get some of the other fabric. You're going to probably use about half of a yard for your arms, and you're basically going to trace out the armhole and then however long you want your sleeve to be. Now, I believe my sleeves here are about 18 inches. I'll list that in my blog of the measurements that I use, but I believe it's 18 inches for my sleeves. After you have cut your your sleeves out, you should have 2 for each arm, and then you're going to go ahead and pin and sew. After you're done sewing your sleeves together, I cannot talk, you are going to turn your top half inside out, and then you're going to turn your sleeve right side in and stick that inside of each other, exactly like I'm doing here, and then you're going to pin your raw edges together. If you would like a tutorial on just how to pin sleeves down, just comment below or send me a Twitter comment or something, and I can have that here for you. After you're done pinning your fabric, you're going to, of course, sew that down. This is what it looks like once you have your arms all sewn on and things like that. And now we're going to just flip it right side in. After you flip it right side in, you're going to measure about 4 to 5 inches. You're going to take that off of the bottom half of your sleeve because we now have to make the cuff. You're going to do this for both sleeves. They should both be around 4 to 5 inches. With seam allowance, you'll have 6 inches that you're cutting off. When sewing a cuff, I usually double my measurements, whatever I've measured. So I guess the top half of my sleeve would be 7 inches, so I will need about 14 inches all around for my cuff to go around my whole sleeve. Now you're just going to fold up your fabric and make sure that you have your cuff about 4 to 5 inches in width. Then you're going to fold both of your cuffs in half and then pin them down and sew them. Make sure that your measurements are on points. You want them to measure out the same. After you are done sewing, you're going to make sure that your sleeve is facing with the beautiful side out, the right side out, facing you, and then your cuff will be the ugly side up. and then you're going to pin your raw edges together, and then you're going to sew around that exactly how we did the sleeve. After you're done sewing, your sleeves should look something like this. Now grab some extra fabric and we're going to make the hoodie part of your hoodie. So I've already measured out how long I want my hoodie to be. It's about 13 inches to my neckline, and then of course I'm drawing the back here out with my curved ruler, and you'll see the measurements here. The back curve is about 14 inches, around the top of the head is going to be about 9 to 10, and then the front is going to be about 12 inches. You should have 4 pieces in all. You're going to sew both parts together. As you see me putting them here together, I'm going to pin them down, and then I'm going to sew them. After you're done pinning and sewing your hoodie, you are going to stuff one inside of the other, and then you're going to pin it down, starting from the top of the head so your seam stays in place. After you're done with that part, you're going to lay the hoodie flat, and you're going to now pin the bottom part where your hoodie would be connected to your jacket part. You're going to pin that down so you can sew it and make sure that these pieces do not move. After you're done sewing it together, just cut off any excess fabric that you have left. After you've cut all the extra fabric off, you're going to pin around where your face would be, so you can have a clean cut or clean hem that's framing around the face. Then once you have that pinned down, you're going to come to the sewing machine and sew, and you're going to want to get as close to the edge as possible, because we are going to need to put our drawstring through there. This is what it looks like. I'm so sorry that you cannot really see with the background, but you basically have a clean cut after you have hemmed everything together. Alright, so the next thing you want to do is attach your hood to the neckline of your top. After you're done pinning, you're going to sew around the neckline just like you did the cuff and the sleeve. This is what it'll look like after you have attached the hood to the top part. The next thing you're going to do is take your scissors and make 2 little slits on the edges of the hem. This is going to be for the drawstring. Now take your measuring tape and basically measure at the top of the hood all the way down to basically your hemline of the shirt. I'm just going to take some extra fabric and I'm going to measure pretty much my whole measuring tape, and then we're going to fold those together, pin them, and then sew.
Akihabara.
After you're done sewing your drawstring, this is what it looks like, all sewn together and hemmed. Alright, so the next thing you want to do is go ahead and grab a safety pin and pin it to the end of your drawstring, and then stick it through the cut that you just made on the edge of your hem. Okay, so now take your curved ruler to the bottom half of your hoodie. You're going to measure out 7 inches long and 3 inches wide. Now that you did that to the other side, now you're just going to curve out the bottom half so the hem line can also be curved. Now cut the extra fabric and remember to leave yourself at least ½ inch of seam allowance. If you would like your slit to go up a little bit higher, you can just take your seam ripper and rip out the seam. Okay, so I know that on your hems you are supposed to iron them out to make it a little bit smoother to hem and to make your seams a little bit straighter, but I didn't do that here. I'll show you that on another video, but I've already pinned my fabric down, so you're just going to need to pin your fabric and then sew. And this is what the finished result looks like.